Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWork Boxing. Man, we had a good evening of boxing last night, man. I'm not going to recap everything because I got a little different segment for the whole Edgar Berlanga thing. And I know Ak had put out a parlay, and I was like, 7-9 for Berlanga. I didn't even get to check to see about the Karnaki and everything because when PBC came on, I knew that somebody was going to put their pajamas on. You heard? And your boy bet, you know what I'm saying, thanks to EricksonLubin and CarlosAdames, your boy, you know what I'm saying, wound up tripling his money. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, you can always make money along with the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? You don't actually have to do it with super chats and things like that. So sometimes I try to use what I think or what I expect about these fights to just get a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, to keep me going, because this is a fledgling growing channel. Nevertheless, I knew somebody was going to put their pajamas on last night. I knew somebody was going night-night last night. And before I wrap up with EricksonLubin, since this is about EricksonLubin, I want to talk about the CarlosAdames and Julian J. Rock Williams fight. Now, Julian J. Rock Williams, he is, man, he's one of them guys, almost like when Tony Harrison put it all together and he's on his A game as far as boxing. The only question is the stamina. Because I'll put it like this. Everybody heard Gary Russell say, man, if Terrence Bud Crawford was in 15-round dog shape, he really has a shot where he could just withstand. Man, I believe it's along the same lines for Julian J. Rock. Man, if his stamina, if his gas tank, or whatever it is, you know, they were talking about his punch resistance. I don't think it's that. Man, whatever it is, if he could just get his endurance level up. Because he shows flashes of brilliance when he's throwing those hands, man. Some of them Philly combinations, man, and the moves he make, man, it's beautiful to watch, man. And I'm guessing he might not have the most power, but the way he connect when he get to rolling off them combinations and the sequences that he go through and what Breadman has him going through, very dangerous. I just think that CarlosAdames was a very underappreciated, underrated boxer. I know I had him pegged as such, but the thing that saved CarlosAdames is that the man has a beard. You know what I'm saying? He could take a licking and keep on ticking. So that kind of saved him, because it was points in time where if Julian J. Rock would have just had any more suddenness or would have just pounced on the man, he could have probably did more damage to Adames. But Adames got a beard. You know, he can, not that I put everything on being able to switch hit. It's just that I think when you have somebody that knows how to use it and knows when your opponent is getting the best of you in a certain manner, they can go to a different angle, give you a different look, as long as they still remain defensively responsible. Now, the lapses of judgment he had in defense, he makes up for in chin. So we end up getting CarlosAdames, getting a controversial stoppage, but when you go back and look at it, you know what I'm saying, when you go back and look at it, I think that, man, it's one of them things to where J-Rock really didn't need to get hit anymore. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say it's definitely not an embarrassing stoppage, but Julian J. Rock is a blue collar, lunch pail carrying type boxer, man, and I pay respect to all these boxers. You know, even though I made a little bread on that fight, I respect Julian J. Rock, man. He can rumble with the best of them. I just think that conditioning is a factor, and I think that anybody dealing with CarlosAdames, I think that this fight is going to develop him, because Julian J. Rock Williams was not there to lay down, and it was time when he could have actually won that fight. I just think that between having his beard, being relentless, and letting his hands go, CarlosAdames will let his hands go. He stays hungry. Now, he also has a gas tank issue, but I think in time, I think Santos is seeing that, you know, whether it's nutrition, whether it's, you know, more roll work, you know, whatever it is, CarlosAdames is very dangerous. I think he's sneaky good. And to speak on him, EricksonLubin, who fought Luis Cuba Arias, he says he wants the winner. Now, I'm starting to think that fight would be like gangbusters. You know, that would be a very highly, that'd be an explosive fight. What I saw from EricksonLubin last night was almost perfection. It was almost perfection. The snappy, crisp, educated jab that was just like, it was stifling, it was quick. He was coming behind him with the ones and twos. He looked alive. His eyes, you know what I'm saying, stayed on his target. You know, he was very focused. And like he said in the post-fight, he said he seen everything that Arias was doing. And Arias, man, he kind of rubbed me a little wrong way, because Arias is one of them guys that if you catch him outside the ring, the talk don't match the behavior inside the ring. Almost like everything that Devin was saying, the lone man, how he was gonna do it, and the shove before it. It's like when you come with that kind of energy, when you get inside the ring, people are expecting something else from you. And so that's what kind of, and traditionally I like Louis Cuba Arias. I know he rocked with Tank. You know, he spoke highly of Tank. Tank spoke of him. He's like, oh yeah, I know Cuba, you know, this and this and that. So I know him in being a TMT, you know, product or protege, somebody that's, you know, under that banner. You know, I know a little bit about him, but I was like, okay, if he come with that energy, then we gonna have us a blockbuster fight. Now, he had his opportunities. You know, he was trying to do that wild overhand right. You know, he was doing a lot of rabbit punching. I think Lubin stayed poised. He stayed calm. You know, he stayed behind his jab. He had an educated jab. You know, he was doing some relentless body work, just like CarlosAdames. Man, CarlosAdames did some relentless body work. But since I'm highlighting EricksonLubin and Coach Kevin Cunningham, my unsung hero and the coach, man. Coach Kevin Cunningham, man, he been behind Adrian Broner's recent comeback. Now he's behind Lubin comeback. You know, he is the guy that's like that uncle, that drill sergeant of an uncle that's going to motivate you mentally, spiritually, and give you the tools physically. And he's a southpaw whisperer that will get you put back in the game, or at least get you, you know, back level again. You know what I'm saying? He's like the plumb in the level. He's gonna get you back on your square. And that's what he did last night with Lubin. Lubin, granted it was against Arias, and Arias, he can upset the apple cart. I just think it's a matter of focus. And, you know, I don't know what's going on as far as how often he's fighting and things like that. But I'm thinking Lubin was 14 months off. Coming back from that against a gaming opponent like Cuba, I think that he did very well, man. His punch selection, his variety, the way he controlled the ring, the way he was, you know, dominant when he needed to be. He would step in, his combinations. And Lubin had some power. Lubin had some stifling power. I think that he was patient, fighting behind his jab. And I think that led to a lot of his success. I wanted to give Lubin a shout out, because I think they said that he did, he threw like 81 jabs, 25 to the head, and his power punch percentage, he was up around 44%. That's that magic number. When you at 44%, even if you don't see the fight, somebody look at those statistics, that tells you that you were a dominant player in that game. Unless your opponent was able to hit you at 44%, then that's a different story. Might have been a, you know what I'm saying, a back and forth and everything. But salute to Lubin, man, for getting back into the win column. Salute to CarlosAdames for getting in the win column. And I think that those two are on a crash collision. They are on a collision course, you know. And if with the Adames fight, if he wants to run it back with Julian J-Rock, I think that fight would be even better the second time around. It's almost kind of like, even though the ending to the Gary Antoine Russell fight and Rancis Bartholomew, even though somebody might have said that was a premature stoppage, a run back, nobody will argue with that. Everybody will sign up to go see that, because that was a very competitive fight. And to be honest, I kind of had it even up until that round. They were actually going back and forth in rounds, and there were times when the Adames lagged and JulianWilliams got his off. You know what I'm saying? He was able to have some success. But I want to say shout out to Lubin, shout out to Adames, man. But Lubin is one of them guys, man, that, you know, I say that he's one of the like lifeblood type boxers in this game, where you might have had your off nights, you know, the two losses that he suffered to Lubin, you know, the one that he suffered to Lubin, and the one that he suffered to Fundora, and of course Charlo. You know, you might have an off night, but those guys come to fight. And Lubin said that he had his head on straight, he got some matters and got more focus in his personal life, and I think it really showed. You know, I hope that the young man can actually continue to keep his head on straight, continue to stay focused, man, because he still has a bright future, man. He still has a bright future, man. And whenever you fight a guy like Lubin, you know you better bring your lunch pail and your hard hat, because it's going to be some work. So I just wanted to highlight him, Hammer Time, EricksonLubin, and CarlosAdames in this video, man. Thanks for all the new subscriptions. Thanks for all the likes. You know, thanks to my man out there from finish line. You know, we got to talking and whatever. He told me he was a Bell fan. I told him, hey man, I had this shirt on. I said, hey man, you know, I'm a Spence fan too. You know what I'm saying? But when I talk boxing, I'm level-headed, and the man actually subscribed. You gotta like that. You know what I'm saying? So networking is everything. So shout out to Finish Line. You know what I'm saying? For showing Bodywork some support. Thanks for all my new subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for everybody who actually chimed in the success of my last video. That was like a breakthrough, because all of the hard work, all of the editing, everything that I do, it was like, okay, it finally played off. I kept saying, man, why people don't like the videos? Why they not liking them? Boom, got that many views and that many likes, man. So I want to say salute to the kidneys, salute to each and every one of you. We're growing. I got some new ideas, some new segments that I want to do to go along with according to my old head, and I got a lot of things to come. But we're in a good time in boxing, man. We are in a great time in boxing. Anybody who actually watched that PBC card, man, gotta know that PBC don't put you in there with any light touches. You think you gonna go in there and think you just gonna go out there and have a showcase this and that? No, PBC don't play. They're gonna toughly match you, and every time they put on the card, for the most part, even if you're not all the way familiar with everybody, you're gonna get your viewership worth. Anyways, thanks again for everybody who tuned in here at Bodywork Boxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.